I am the ghost of perfect Christmas Carol adaptations that you have yet to see. Because despite the fact that this is everyone's undisputed favorite adaptation of A Christmas Carol pulling dialogue directly from the Dickensian prose, there happen to be two versions of A Christmas Carol that do certain elements of this story even better. Chief among which is this monstrosity right here. This is Scrooge's nephew Fred, as seen in A Muppet Christmas Carol. He is a gossiping little bitch who makes fun of his uncle behind his back. A pompous, smug little twink with a pretty low opinion of his uncle who gives a smug, confused look when Scrooge shows up on Christmas morning. And I want to contrast that with one of the other most faithful adaptations of A Christmas Carol, the 1999 Patrick Stewart version made for TNT, where nephew Fred is played by Dominic West. And this movie gives us a much fuller picture of Scrooge's relationship to nephew Fred, as well as nephew Fred's personality and his important role in Scrooge's redemption. Because crucially, nephew Fred, the son of Scrooge's late sister, is the only character who has faith in Scrooge before the ghosts ever show up. This is the character, more than any other, from whom the spirit of Christmas is seen shining. He is joyous, gracious, hopeful, incredibly giving with the very little money he has, and resilient in his quest to bring his uncle, the only living connection he has to his mother, back into the fold of Christmas family warmth. Nephew Fred is the home Scrooge has to come back to when he has softened his heart. And the scene between them and Fred's wife on Christmas morning makes me tear up every single time I watch this movie. But fascinatingly, neither Patrick Stewart nor the great Michael Caine are my favorite versions of Ebenezer Scrooge. That honor goes to the late great Albert Finney, photographed here in his mid-30s. Same guy, same time, less makeup. And I would even venture to say that the movie Scrooge, starring Albert Finney, is the most underappreciated adaptation of A Christmas Carol in existence. It is a musical with some of the most beautiful Christmas songs in any Christmas Carol adaptation, rivaled only by The Muppet Christmas Carol. And it is also the darkest, wittiest dark comedy of any Christmas Carol adaptation you can find. I don't want to spoil the song that gets sung when the ghost of Christmas Yet to Come takes Scrooge to the future, but it is one of the funniest and darkest musical sequences in any musical I have ever seen. And what sets Albert Finney's Ebenezer Scrooge apart from the rest is the temperament he brings to Scrooge. Albert Finney presents a Scrooge who fundamentally believes himself to be a good, smart, well-mannered person. He is still fundamentally the Scrooge we all know him to be, but with the difference being that he sees himself as gracious, as magnanimous, as likable, as charming, as moral, as a man who's doing the right thing. And frankly, moreover, if you were to watch this performance without any context as to when it came out, you would be forgiven if you assumed that he was doing an impression of a modern real estate mogul president, despite the fact that that figure wouldn't rise to cultural prominence for another 10 to 15 years. Because the personality that he's capturing is so authentic, so real, so on the nose for how someone like this might actually behave in the real world. How a character like this views themselves as a hero, as morally right, as ethically justified, etc. Oh, and on top of all of that, his Marley is played by Obi-Wan Kenobi himself, Alec Guinness, who plays, in my opinion, the most interesting Marley in any Christmas Carol movie. But I should say, for my money, this is the best version of Bob Cratchit.